Welcome back to the Vera House podcast. Today we have a very special guest, the Richmond Experience. You may be familiar. From restaurants, coffee shops, and local boutiques to the murals that line our buildings, very few brands capture the energy of our hometown like the Richmond Experience. What began as a simple local guide and social media profile has evolved into one of the city's most trusted local platforms, part media outlet, part community, and completely devoted to the many people who make Richmond what it is. Today we're joined by the amazing women now leading that charge, Paige Poprocky and Kelsey Heintz. Together, they've turned a love for the city into a thriving, independently owned media brand that celebrates local stories, small businesses, and the societal pulse that defines Richmond. So please meet Paige, a former educator turned content creator. Paige transformed her curiosity into Virginia's wine country and storytelling into a full-time creative career. As co-owner and chief marketing officer of the Richmond Experience, she's the strategist behind its visual voice, blending authenticity, warmth, and discovery into everything the brand shares. And please meet Kelsey. A lifelong writer and editor, Kelsey brings precision and heart to the Richmond Experience. With a background in English and years spent crafting stories across industries, she now serves as the brand's editor-in-chief, shaping its editorial tone and guiding its growing community of over 200,000 locals. So welcome to the Vera House podcast. We're so excited to have you.
Hi. Wow, that was so nice.
I know.
that just warmed my soul.
They're really sweet introductions. When we were reading them over in prep, I was like, that's so nice.
Yeah. Well, I know, I'm sure Perri can speak for himself. I've been familiar with the Richmond Experience forever, and it's obviously a great idea, but in many ways, the first to do it, it really is the first brand to really do this in our local town. I know you're celebrating your 1-year anniversary of taking over Richmond Experience. I know you're very close with the original founders. How's the first year? I know you've been involved prior, but how's everything been over the past year?
Good. I feel like generally would be our rating.
Yeah. I mean, again, we have both worked for the Richmond Experience full time since 2022. So we really didn't do too much new this year.
Right.
We were taking our time, just figuring things out as owners, taxes.
Yeah. Behind the scenes.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. But we've been able to, now that we hit the year mark, I think just really decide where we want to take it, what we want to do, who we want to work with, just have boundaries and, just highlight Richmond, not really change much. I mean, the brand works. I mean, people know our name, people trust us, and that's definitely what we want to take forward. We don't want to change that.
Right. And I think we said that from the very beginning too, when we were sort of announcing that this was going to be the new direction. We're going to be at the top, but there's not going to be that much change because we really like what we were already doing. Mm-hmm. We were fans before we even started working for the Richmond Experience. And so we kind of just want to keep continuing what we were already doing, but making it a little bit more our own. And then, yes, learning how to do our taxes.
Yeah, that's the big hurdle. When you put the big shoes on,
right.
You have all the big responsibilities.
You have to do all of it. And you have to be the one too. Another thing that we've maybe you've had dabbled in this, beforehand, but something that I have had to get a little bit more used to is just if you get an uncomfortable request for a partner that maybe we don't think would fit our vibe, just you have to be the one now to say no, where it's we weren't doing that before.
Yeah, we had a middleman and now it's just us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those decisions, we don't take lightly, and, we have discussions about it.
Sure.
And, ultimately, we want to ensure that whatever we're sharing, we love, we believe in. And so sometimes a client does reach out and we just have to say no.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And, it's our decision now. Before it was the previous owners, but now it's ours. So it feels a little different.
Yeah. It's nice to have a little bit more of a say in it, I feel like. And get to try on a couple of different things too. I do a lot on our website, and at the beginning of the year, I was trying to do maybe a little bit more long form writing content, because mostly what we do is roundups and listicle type things. It's fun to sort of dabble in different areas. We are also learning to try to not dabble in literally everything because it's like becoming, okay, now where are we?
Where are we at?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But it's been good to have a little more control.
Yeah. And we did start a member forum this year on our website. It's something that, we just decided we had to do it to like start it, but we really haven't been able to put as much time and energy into it as we would have liked. But that is something that if you don't start it when, if not now, when. So we just kind of like hit send on that.
Yeah.
And I think we need to curate that a little bit better.
Right.
And before, I think the Richmond Experience at the beginning really wanted to be more like meetups. And I think at the beginning it was great and it was very more community led. And I do think we all need community. And that is something, especially since COVID, people are trying to find. And our members are an amazing community, but it just seems like it's harder and harder to get those meetups happening. I don't know if it's just because of how big we are.
Yeah. It's just sort of like another coordination thing that we're trying to like figure out how to handle.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's easier for some folks who have like, again, it's just, I think we have too many things going on. It's hard to narrow down and like have a meetup. So that's something that like we've been like figuring out.
Yeah.
Is this something that we want to continue? How can we do this? How can we keep growing and offer our members, everything they deserve and more?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like when you move into like a new house and you can't wait to do like all the different design things. And so immediately like you're painting this room and like getting this furniture. And then like halfway through, you're like, I'd love a break now. Let's like take a break. So I think we're kind of like trying to pull back and recenter ourselves now that we've gone through this first year. But overall, I mean, I feel like it's been very amazing. And it's been a great thing to get comfortable in, I think.
Yeah. It sounds like you traded in your 9 to 5 for a 24/7.
exactly.
Yeah. Although I was going to say,
I think I'm
like,
always 24/7.
I feel like Paige would be like, no, I've been like doing 24/7 the whole time. But now it's just like, I'm the one making the full decision.
Yes. So that's funny you say that because I think this year I've set the most boundaries I ever have because I am in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I am my boss, and so it is nice to be in control because I do think the first couple years of just me being an employee, I was burning out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really was. I was saying yes to everything. I also had FOMO because when you first start out and you're invited to everything, you're like, hell yes, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this. Let's go there. And now, I've done a lot. I'm grateful. And so now I'm able to kind of like step back and, I have 60,000 videos and photos, I can reuse and, recycle, and it's still great. It's still good. It's still telling a story. So I've been like dabbling in that this year with like a lot of roundups and stuff, which we haven't really done before. And all of that content does so well. And I started app blockers this year because I needed to, not work 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just allowing myself, giving myself that permission to do that was huge, but I don't think I would have done that as an employee.
No.
Like I needed that. I needed the ownership and I needed to give myself that grace.
Yeah. I think it was like a different thing for both of us in different ways where it's like you're wanting to like uphold the brand that we were fans of, like we said. And like, we really like cared for our boss, really liked our relationship with our boss. And speaking for myself, you want to be doing work that she would be proud of and that makes like the company look good. And we still want that. But now that we're in charge, it's like representing us like specifically now.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit easier and harder to, I feel like, pull back when it makes the most sense, like for your mental health, basically.
Yeah.
So I think especially with Paige being the one who's always like out and about meeting face to face with so many people, it's been nice to see you be able to put a little bit of a fence up.
Yeah.
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 You can still see through the fence.
It's still there.
Yeah.
But it's guarded and there's maybe a little shock when you get too close.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Or just like doing a little like stay back.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Recharging.
Yeah, recharging. And again, just making sure, thinking about, is this what our audience wants to see?
Right.
Is this like, I share my life with our audience, but I do have a life outside of work, and that's okay. And I think for the longest time I had to share everything,
Mhm.
and now I'm just being more mindful.
Do a little
I think
more
that's
separation.
important.
Yeah. It's like one of the benefits of becoming the owner and the operator at the same time. It's now your baby, essentially,
It is.
your newborn child,
Yes.
your old child, but you have control over it.
Yeah.
So you can do what and when and how you want it. And there's no one that's going to tell you no.
Right.
You'll get feedback from your audience, you get feedback from your partners as to what things are working and not working, which gives you room to experiment.
Yeah.
Because when you were an
Yes.
employee, you kind of had to stick within the guidelines. Obviously, they probably appreciated when you brought something new to the table, but within the set rules by the owners and operators at that time. But now
Mhm.
that's you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because just the other day, Paige was out of town. And so I was like sort of handling a couple of like projects we needed to get out the door. And I had in my mind like different stipulations that we used to have in place when we were employees. And when Paige got back into town, I was mentioning like, oh, like I tried to do X, Y, and Z like we typically do. And she's like, oh, I just like do what I think makes sense now. I was like, oh, it didn't occur to me that like you probably don't still like stick to deadlines that maybe were different, like
rules.
Yeah.
We had rules
That
for
had been, like,
certain
given.
things, like for
Yeah.
our content calendar, like how many, were paid versus organic.
Right.
And of course, we don't want to just be, our Instagram will never be all paid. It
Right.
just never will.
Yeah.
We would never let that happen. But we, if one week I don't have any, and then the next week I have something every day, it just is what it is.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna, punish myself or punish the client because, our content calendar is really full, like until like the end of the year. And so I do work like 2 to 8 weeks in advance. And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if it can, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try.
And
Yeah.
it's like still, it's a business too. So we always have to like keep that in mind, obviously, where it's like we want it to be authentic to what we are interested in, because that's sort of like what started, I think, people's attraction to it
Mhm.
from the very beginning. But it's also like a business where you're trying to like work with different client schedules and all of that. So just sort of like loosening up the different parameters we might have been given before has been like nice to. It sounds like for you to be able to do on our content calendar, especially.
Yeah. And when you can align something that like I'm already interested in and then somebody wants to work with us, that's like ultimately the goal.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time. And that's what I want. Like that is it. Oh yeah, I want to go to that new restaurant. They want to work with us. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Like let's make that happen.
Right.
Mhm.
So that is ultimately the goal every day,
Mhm.
So I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's oddly more freedom that comes with
Yes.
structure.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
when you're not in control of your own structure, there's less freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, sounds obvious, but I think when you are a business owner or taking over a business or diving headfirst into entrepreneurship, I'm even familiar vaguely with, I think it was called Sips and Trips.
Yep, that's me.
Right. So it's, it's not your first rodeo.
Right.
Right. So you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's a nice feeling to be able to like take the structure that you built over time
Mhm.
for the both of you and kind of implement it in a project that you've been a part of even prior to this year.
Yes.
Right. So for anybody who's like maybe not even familiar with the Richmond Experience, I don't know how you wouldn't be, but if they aren't, what is it? How would you describe it for someone who, is just meeting you both for the first time and they say, oh, what do you do? Like, what is this? What's the Richmond Experience?
Well, I would describe us as a hyper local media outlet. So first and foremost, I think most folks know us from our Instagram.
Mhm.
We have over, I think, 140,000 Instagram followers, which I believe is one of the largest in Richmond as far as like just giving you Richmond content. So we focus on what to eat, drink, see, and do in Richmond. And then additionally, we have our website, and that is like the meat of our content. So if you like our Instagram page, you're going to like our website even more because Kelsey curates over 200 city guides of what to eat, drink, see, and do, from travel to family to nightlife to dining out. I help curate the event calendar, and that is a labor of love. I probably work on that upwards of 2 to 5 hours a week. Just I source all these different events that I think our audience would like, and I hand do it. So it's not just a place where people can put any event, you know, I'm being mindful of that. Then we have member perks, where we work with I think over 40 businesses that give our members perks. We have a member forum. Think of it as like a Facebook group where you can chit chat. And then we have our podcast that comes out every Friday, and we share what to eat, drink, see, and do for that week or weekend. It's a quick podcast, 20 to 30 minutes. But I feel like if you're engaging on our IG stories, if you are reading, and our newsletters, we send out 2 newsletters every week. Kelsey writes the Weekly Insider.
Yes.
And the Weekender. Those go out Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so if you're reading those, reading the city guides, consuming our content on Instagram and listening to our podcast, you're getting this full circle. You're getting an insight to me and my life, Kelsey and her life, what's going on in Richmond. We felt that the podcast, the newsletters, the city guides, and Instagram will give you a full picture of Richmond. And we do charge our website.
Yeah. So sort of keep the lights on, as they say.
I mean, it is
$39 a year, which we feel like is,
insanely affordable.
Yeah, insanely affordable.
We feel like it's trying times right now, so we don't want to say, but
yeah, but I mean, it's less than $3 a month,
right?
And it just helps us, truly. I mean, we couldn't be here if it weren't for our members, because they are the backbone of the Richmond Experience.
Right.
And they are the ones that are allowing us to do what we love and to do all of this, because all of that costs money.
Yeah. It also helps keep it from being pop-up central.
Yes.
I was just on somebody else's website recently, and I couldn't even get to the thing that I had clicked on because there are so many ads.
It's a recipe website.
Right.
Yes.
And
they're the worst.
Yes.
And that's another part of why we charge for our website content, is to just keep, our readers from having to have that sort of experience as you're just trying to get to a city guide. We're just making it a good experience for people reading along with us. But it's, of course, also it is a business. So we're trying to keep things running, and do need to charge for our time and effort. But generally speaking, it's a concierge service, we like to think of it as.
Yeah.
Right. You're
Perri and I
providing
have lived
value.
in the city forever. So it's trying to find something to do is valuable.
Yes.
So if there are people putting an effort to give you ideas and events and restaurant recommend, there's totally a monetary value behind
For sure.
that.
And covering it on the different platforms is how you reach as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. It's that's how people of different preferences interact with the internet and try and find information.
Definitely.
So if you use Instagram, your Instagram is a great place to go to get those resources. But maybe you don't want to be a member, or you don't look at newsletters. Then Instagram is your go-to place for information.
Right.
And vice versa. If you're someone who doesn't use Instagram, like my parents,
Right.
they prefer to read a website blog or a website article or Google stuff. And if you're top ranked in Google and you provide the most value, then why wouldn't you subscribe? Because that's the one place you can go when you want to find out what's going on.
Right. We just try to keep it as fresh as possible of a library. I mean, it is, like Paige said, it's 200 plus city guides at this point. So some of them are a little dusty and need to be wiped off. But that's another thing we've been working on this year. We used to try to do, speaking of different parameters we would have when we were employees, we try to do one new one every week. We try to refresh one every week. And then I think we try to do a contributor every week. And eventually it got to a point where it's we've got this huge catalog now, and some of them are so outdated that they need to be, it makes more sense to us, we feel to make it a completely updated
or even
library.
Combine some of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of them are almost the same thing.
Yeah.
And, again, it's not quantity, it's quality.
Mhm.
Right.
And so we just really want to get back to like quality. Like
Right.
some of those guides were written back when the website was launched, like in 2019. And it's just like, lots of things have changed.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so we want to just make sure that everything on our website is clean, up to date. And yeah, it's no ads. You
Right.
know, that's probably the biggest sell
That's a
for
big
me.
one. Yeah.
Right, right. And like you said, so that it is like, so that it continues to be like a value to people who are like, in there looking around. It's like, we don't want it to be like completely outdated or anything. We want you to be getting what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, as the person who's running the website, I think it's like totally valuable.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's providing so much value.
Yeah. I feel like you should definitely like sign up today.
Do you have a favorite?
A favorite guy?
Oh, yeah,
that's
she
a good
does.
question.
I have like a couple that I like really love. One that we actually did just update because The Life of a Showgirl just came out. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I think when her TTPD album was coming out, I was like, what we should do is we should do like a roundup of places in the city that you should go to, like depending on what your favorite Taylor Swift era is.
Gotcha.
I think it came out perfectly, don't
Yeah,
you think?
I do.
So she's on TS 12 now. So 12 bars to visit based on your favorite Taylor Swift era, I think is like the official title. And I just think it came out perfectly.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I love all of our travel guides because I
Yes.
write them.
Right. You gets out there, you do like all the taste testing.
Yeah, I love because I use them.
Right.
Like if a friend's like, oh, I'm going to Cape Charles, I'm like, we have a guide for that.
Right.
I could tell you where to go. I
Mhm.
could tell you where to eat. I could tell you where to stay. I also love our ultimate restaurant guide.
Yeah.
That is a labor of love. It's more of a list, but we break it up into like lunch spots, where to get a good salad, where to go to brunch, a fancy dinner, a date night on a budget. I don't want to do the dishes. Where can I go really quick? And that has over 200 restaurants. So it's like a great one to bookmark.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, our most popular.
I think so.
I think people are like, I don't know where to go. You don't know how often I pull it up. Like, because you just forget,
Right.
Yesterday, I was like, where can I go for lunch? And I literally pulled up our lunch guide.
Yeah.
I use
That's the thing too. Is like we still like use our own
Yes,
stuff
we
as
use
like
our own
resource.
content.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what makes the best product, right? Is like
Yeah.
the thing that you would use
Right.
and the thing that you love and find useful. Most likely other people are going to find it useful too.
Exactly. Right. I feel like that's what we, or at least when we're trying to come up with like different content, like website content, that Taylor Swift thing, like I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I feel like a few other people are too.
Just a few.
Just a few. She's like up and coming, but I felt like you see stuff like that all the time where it's like it's relevant to one topic, but then it ties like another interest of yours together. And I thought like, oh, we could do that for like Richmond, and bring a couple of themes together. It's something that I wanted to do, and I had so much fun doing it. And I think you can tell when we put something out like that. So if we're interested in referencing it, we feel like other people would be too.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a
100%.
pretty good eye and ear for what people are going to be interested in.
I
And
think so.
you like are using it. It's a part of your daily life already. And like to Mike's point, if you think it's cool, pretty good chance
Yeah.
somebody else is going to think it's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
The restaurant list, I'm the same way. I'm
Mhm.
from Richmond. I've been here my whole life. Things have come and go.
Oh, yeah.
I should have a Rolodex of restaurants,
Mhm.
but I do the same thing. When I need to go and get lunch, where's lunch near me?
Yeah.
Right? Like I never
Exactly.
know where to go get food.
Right.
We were at the podcast festival this
Yeah.
past weekend, and we were sitting next to this woman who was not from here. She was from San Diego, which I think one of you lived in San Diego.
For a
or
couple
something.
of years.
Yeah.
Mhm. PB
Um,
Fish Shop. She should go to PB Fish Shop if she's out there.
All right. Yeah. And so she was here visiting and
Mhm.
asked us for recommendations. And yeah, we did the same thing where it's like, we've lived here forever. And it's like, oh, I know all my favorite places, right? And then you go to write them down and it's like, wait, what do I recommend?
Four
Yeah,
places.
what do I
Like
like?
the
What do I
coffee
like?
shop I go to every day, and then one good place for food. I'm like, I couldn't think of anything else.
Right.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I know where I'm going. Like I know all the cool stuff, but
Yeah.
it is one of those things where it's just easy to kind of forget.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
you need like the whole
It's
like
fleeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I do have a Rolodex of all the thing because I'm OCD. So I'm like, all right, and I got a list of all my stuff, and I have it all like categorized.
See, yeah, I don't do that. I might have one bookmark, and I just try to remember all of them.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Like I have another friend that has Google like Google lists or Google Maps lists.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
whenever
wow.
I go travel or whenever I'm mentioning that I'm going to go on a trip or something, they're like, you need to go here, you need to go there. I'm like, how do you know
Yeah.
all of these places all over the world?
Yeah.
And she's like, look, I have a massive list of these places bookmarked on Google Maps. And I didn't even
It's a
know that
skill.
you could do that. But that's just like certain types of people are
Definitely.
more
Definitely.
attuned
Different
to making the
personality.
list.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So for me, having a resource where I can consistently go to that has
Right.
up-to-date information on all that. That's what I want. That's
Yeah,
what I
we'll take care
yeah.
of it for you.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't
cool.
have to.
Yeah, he's fine.
No, I love it. Those map guides, I used one when I just went to Brooklyn. I mean, having a guide of any sort is
Yes,
great.
It's just a good place to start. I
Right.
mean, and I don't really like to look on reviews ever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not a review girly, never have been, never will be. I wasn't that type of person when I watched a movie. Even when I read a book, I kind of go in blind,
Yeah.
which I shocked our book club. They were like, "You don't read the back?" I'm like, "No."
It's very like not your personality too, which
I
is
know.
not surprising.
I kind of just go in, and I go into places like that too. I want to not have any like preconceived notions. I want them to give it to me. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Just I'll take it
Yeah.
and go with it.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously exciting things happening in Richmond. There's like crazy things happening in
Yeah.
Richmond. You
Yeah.
mentioned the website first launching in like 2019.
Mhm.
Even since 2019, I feel like we're in a whole different city now.
Yeah.
I remember thinking just prior to COVID, I'd be walking through Carytown and I felt like there was just like new shops popping up and I was getting excited. I'm like, all right, cool. Like Richmond's doing some cool stuff. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And some of the brand new places shut down right away.
Mhm.
And it feels like we've rebounded pretty well.
Yeah.
Some people love that. Some people hate it. What are your thoughts about like all the rapid, like crazy development and changes here in Richmond?
I mean, it makes me excited. I was not born and raised here, but I moved here in 2012. And so I was 22, fresh out of college. And I mean, I feel like a Richmonder because I've just spent my whole adult life here. And even since then, oh my gosh, it's just a different world. I love it. I mean, I love to see like all the changes in Brooklyn Park, like Brooklyn Park Boulevard, like just seeing Morty's Deli just opened. Auntie Ning's, the Smoky Mug just got a big new spot. I go to Boho and I've been going there for years and just seeing all the different businesses that are popping up there. It's just exciting. I like it. But I like growth. I live in Scott's Addition and that has changed drastically. And I like it. I am a fan. I think there's room for everybody. That's my motto. And it's just growth is a good thing.
I feel like it is. We're also like, I feel like coming from the point of view of like working for a small business and now like owning a small business where it's like you always want to see more small businesses pop up and be successful. Some of them I feel like can rub people the wrong way. But generally speaking, I feel like I'm excited for people who are able to like bring an idea to the city and like get more people into a certain neighborhood and make people excited about Richmond. I feel like that's always like a good thing. So I agree. I'm excited about the growth and like seeing different things pop up and people have like different ideas for, different stuff across the board. That's fun to see too. So like, I don't know. It's good. Generally speaking, I think.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, my friend who born and raised here, she just told me the other day, born and raised near like Mechanicsville. She was just like, I don't know, should I move? She's like, I finally feel like I'm doing Richmond right. Like I'm going out, I'm experiencing it. I think sometimes when you are born and raised here, you kind of take it for granted.
Mhm.
I mean, the VMFA, it's free every day. Oh my gosh. Like, why are not like, I should be there right now.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
It's just, there are so many things that I think people forget about. And that's what we can shine a light on and just remind folks like, hey, this is cool. This is free or it's affordable. And I think ultimately that's what we want to shine a light on. And I think change is uncomfortable. And so
Right.
people, want things to stay the way they are, but that's just not how the world works.
Yeah.
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 I totally agree. I think not to get too philosophical, but like when we travel, the thing that we enjoy so much about traveling is that you notice all of the things that you aren't familiar with. And then you're like, oh, I love this place. And like, look at the trees and look at and you notice all these little things. And I think if people can take that attitude to the place that they were born and raised or that they lived, and sort of, we talk about this all the time, like treating the place that you live as if you're a tourist in your own city.
Absolutely.
And then you find exactly, you know, what your friend found, which is like, wow, I actually love this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be a little bit of a mindset shift in general. You get stuck in your ways, you get stuck in your routine, you kind of get a little burnt out on things being the same. You also really enjoy that things are familiar because it's comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So you forget that there's all these other things. And then when you hear about something new, I'm like, new. What about the old stuff? I like the old stuff.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be intentional about going out and be like, okay, let me check the list. What's new?
Hey.
Let me scope it out. Check the pictures out online. Here's some reviews or, you know, experiences from friends, and then go and see it yourself. Like I mentioned, being from here, I've seen it turn over numerous times, especially since COVID.
Yeah.
And you could have an opinion about the new development that's kind of painting it in a negative light because it is a drastic change in what seems to be a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
You know, 6 or 7 years and isn't really that long. And there's more development that's happened in that time span in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But most of it, I would say, is good and in good intention for the betterment of the city as a whole and into the future. And then when you look at it, you're like, okay, this is giving me Arlington, looks a little bit like DC, looks a little bit like North Coast, like East Coast, Northeast Shore almost in some locations. Okay. I can get behind this.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that there's some intention to, as a whole, improve the city for everybody that's here.
I think the good intention thing is like the thing too, because I feel like when people are getting like kind of like riled up about stuff, it's like I feel like the intention behind this is like a good, like people are trying to do something good for the city.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing to look at. I also, as I'm not a original Richmonder, but have been here since like 2017, 2018. So I like you said, feel like I, you know, have gotten very comfortable here. I don't know if this is a controversial thing to say, but I also feel like Richmond natives are you're very protective of Richmond City.
Very.
It almost feels like you got to be like really cool to get into like the club.
Yes.
So people kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you got to work at it to like get in with the cool people is kind of like the vibe.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're spot on. And I think it's well intentioned and for good reasons.
Yeah.
I think that and we talked about a little bit of this on like our kind of upbringings. We ran in similar circles, but never crossed paths. And we kind of fell into like these kind of underground, maybe subculture communities. And that's like the backbone of where that sentiment comes from. Is like, don't change it. It's perfect.
right.
It's gross and broken and a little bit weird.
Right.
But that's
And
what we like
it like that.
Right. That's what we like about it.
Right.
If you come in here without having any context, you bring change that isn't based on any of that,
Mm-hmm.
which oftentimes can have the unintentional effect of removing it because the community doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So people are protecting like that weird, quirky authenticness
That's
of
what
Richmond.
I love
Yeah.
about
Right.
Richmond.
And
And
just want to
also,
add to it.
I've been able to become my authentic self here. Like I grew up in a very small town and I was like a closeted little girl this whole time. And then I come to Richmond and I'm like, oh, I'm queer, I'm gay, like cool.
Yep.
And I've been able to like find my community, find my friends. And I mean, it changed my life, this place. And I mean, I just even got to write a little bit with well, not write, but I was interviewed for the Lonely Planet LGBTQ plus travel guide, which made Richmond a queer destination, put it on the map because we are a very queer friendly space. And that has been just everything to me.
Yeah.
So, and that's like, so yes, Richmond is weird. It is freaky. It is cool. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love being a
Right.
Richmonder.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
And I think people, like you were saying, are very like, don't touch it. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
move
yeah.
that. It's
Don't-
like, oh yeah,
don't-
I was
yeah,
just
don't
gonna
mess
ask
with
that.
it.
Yeah. It's good right now. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like, of course, we're here in Carytown. It reminds me of when they put the Capital One Cafe on the corner. Like, people were not
Lost
happy.
Yeah.
their minds.
Yeah.
Me as well. I was working at the Daily at the time.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And we're all just sitting across the street, like arms folded, like,
Right.
this is going to suck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that used to be Don't Look Back, I think, right?
I
Or it
don't
was, like, right
remember what
next
it
to it.
was. Don't Look Back was like a few doors down.
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah. I don't remember either, but it's like that type of stuff where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're pushing it a little bit.
Right.
Like, it's
Right.
one thing to put that in like, Short Pump or like Glenside or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
In
people
Carytown?
get,
Yeah.
people get touchy. You drop that right in the middle of Carytown.
Right,
It's like,
right.
dude, there's other coffee shops in Carytown already.
Right.
There's a fine line to toe for
There
sure. Like,
is.
you have to do
Yeah.
it correctly.
There
Yeah.
is.
And
There
like
is.
to that point, doing it correctly, I think the top of Carytown was kind of its own thing, largely untouched for years and years and years. And now it's an entirely new extension of Carytown
Mhm.
into the
Yes.
further west side of it. But I think it's all in a good form and fashion. 'Cause
Yeah.
it needed a little bit of a facelift. There weren't any local businesses that were vying for those locations that I know of. And then when the Publix went in, and now there's that string of
Right.
shops in like the yoga studios, and there's a Starbucks there. And then on the other side of the Publix, there's that row of retail spaces with the workout spot and the Sweet Green, I think it is.
Yep.
I think that's all well and good as well. Like
Yeah.
it's not the quirky Richmond like small business organizations,
Right.
but it needed some help, and now it has it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
intention.
Right.
The intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like a little removed.
Right, right.
Like Jenny's is up there, and yeah, it is. But then dinner parties right there, which we love,
Right.
locally owned, queer owned, woman owned. So yeah, those are the spots that, we're going to.
Right,
Mhm.
right. It's kind of like a nice little like mix of like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So if you can bring in a mix, I feel like that's good.
right.
That I like that little area. And I
Yeah.
think
Me
it's a
too.
perfect example of, like you mentioned, like good intentions. They found a good little spot for it, and that strip works there.
Right.
So you mentioned, you maybe didn't say it explicitly, but like this feeling of kind of like, am I on the outside? Am I in? Am I accepted? Like, was there a moment where, because I mean, you create Richmond content,
Mm-hmm.
you work with tons of local businesses,
Mm-hmm.
attend plenty of events. People rely on you for information and advice and guides and tips and recommendations. So surely you must feel like you're on the inside now, right? Was there a
Yes.
moment, or like
I
was
do.
was there a shift where like you finally were like, all right, like we're in the good graces, we're in the cult, Like
Yeah.
was there a time that felt like that shift happened?
I mean, for me, it's when I moved to downtown, moved into Richmond.
Where'd you live before?
Oh, in those years, I lived a little bit of everywhere. I lived in Short Pump. Mm.
Okay. No
I
judgment.
I rented a home in Glen Allen. I owned a home in Glen Allen, and then Scott's Addition rented, and now I own a condo there.
Mhm.
Cool.
So
Just eased your way in.
yeah, and I felt like, I don't know why, when I first moved here, Scott's Addition wasn't a thing. Isley was there. And then I watched it grow and visit, and I loved it. And I love the change. I know people don't like Scott's Addition either. Well aware of that. But I love how it's growing, and more local businesses are going there, and more restaurants and more coffee shops, and, yes, more apartments. I know, but I don't build them.
Why are you yelling at me?
Why are you yelling at me?
Kind of like, I feel like get a lot of flag. It's like, you guys know we don't own that.
Yeah,
Right,
and I think
right,
it's really cool. The Diamond District is going to be very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
going to be cool.
Yeah.
And you can either love it or you can hate it. And I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
You go into it with a positive outlook. But I don't know. I feel like when I lived in the city, and then for me, it's just, the Richmond experience wouldn't be what it is today without the relationships that we are building on the outside of the platform. And you might not see that, but these businesses, I'm emailing them, I'm texting them, I'm knowing their struggles, I'm knowing their their happiness, everything. And they use us as a tool. And I am privileged to do that. And so I want to ensure that I am telling their story. And, we do it a specific way, just a very authentic way. Some folks interview, I don't do that. And I just think that folks like knowing me and knowing who we are, it's just a relationship at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're very lucky to know a lot of folks, and we're very lucky that they trust us.
Yeah.
But that was built over time and energy and just like lots of love.
Yeah. And I think like I don't know. I was sort of like hesitating to be like, hey, I feel like I'm on the inside. I think maybe it might be easier for Paige, you're out and about too and like building the relationships. I do more of like the website behind the scenes and stuff. So it's definitely a different vibe in each of our desks, figuratively speaking.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think like also, I think that's something maybe that's come from me, like owning the business, where it's like you just sort of have to be comfortable with the fact that not everybody's going to like this. And like I will say to Paige sometimes, I don't know how you handle like the comments and like the messages sometimes that we get, because I'm very like, I can't believe that you said that to me. And it's like, because we're just trying to do like positive things. And there are some people who it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. They're going to say something nasty to you.
They just had something to say.
Yeah. And so like, I think just getting comfortable with the fact that it's like, we might not be for everyone. I think sometimes I still, if I introduce myself or like I'm out and about and I'm like, talking to somebody about what I do, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually like, I worked for the Richmond Experience. I now own the Richmond Experience. Sometimes feel a little hesitant to like say it because it's like, I don't know what the reaction's going to be. We have
just
like
own it.
A checkered past, I feel like too, where it's like, we've gotten ourselves into some controversy pre our coming on. Yeah. And I think that has still followed us around quite a bit. Which is understandable too. It's like part of like what, went into like the business being built up. Different employees were, testing things out. Things went awry. But I feel like if people like get to know us, like Paige was saying, when you're building the relationships, it's like, we know that we're good people. And we know that we like, love what we're doing, love who we're working with. So just getting comfortable with the fact that it's like, we're happy. Yeah. And if other people aren't happy, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of pointing out something that I'm curious about in that regard.
Yeah.
As two women in one of the most visible social media brands in Richmond, and now as the owners of the Richmond Experience, what's your experience been like navigating being so visible and being business owners as two women in Richmond?
I would have to say it's been positive. I wouldn't say it's really been negative, especially since taking over. I think it made sense. We were in Richmond and the former owners were not. And I think it was very important to me to bring it back into Richmond. And I think that went very positive. I think the community was very excited about it because it is local, for locals, by locals. We're in Richmond. We are, helping the economy, if you will, because we are going out a lot.
Yeah, right.
Spending a lot of money. And just being a woman owning a business, it's powerful. I feel really proud. I feel like it's just taking ownership of myself, my future, my family. And it feels good. Yes, there are negative emails and negative comments and negative DMs, and I've been doing this for a while now, so I've gotten some really tough skin.
Yeah,
and I'm not
a little bit of a thicker skin.
I'm not going to say that it doesn't bother me or it doesn't hurt me. I mean, I'm in therapy. I am working on my mental health. I like take walks. I just prioritize myself above anything. And this business is our baby. Like, it is literally my baby. And I love it. And I just want it to thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the visibility, I think we've probably had different experiences with it too, because Paige is so visible. And I, in my opinion, have the luxury of being involved, but not having necessarily to do like the social media stuff still just makes me like sweaty. So in that way, I feel like it can be a little like nerve wracking, like I was saying, where it's like you're introducing yourself. You're like, oh, I own the Richmond Experience. How do you feel about that? It can make you a little like overwhelmed. But I think it's a personality thing too.
Yeah. And I mean, people, when we're out, they're like, are you Paige? Do you own the Richmond? Are you the Richmond Experience? Do you own it? Or they'll often just say, are you the Richmond Experience?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm half of it. And like everybody is always sweet in real life.
Right.
Like everybody is so kind in real life. They usually are just like, oh my God, I follow your stuff. I love your stuff.
Right.
Or, oh my gosh, I'm a member. And I mean, it's awesome. Like, I love that. I feel like as we get bigger, not that many people will approach me. I don't know if they're don't want to bother me or whatever, but I don't care. Like, I love it. You know, I'm a normal person.
Yeah, go say
At the
hi.
end of the day, I am just like you. I am here with my friend or my partner, and we're just enjoying life. And I am no different. I just share a little bit of that with 140,000 people.
Right. Just a couple close friends.
Just a couple close friends.
Well, they also say too, like, if you're going to pay attention to like the negative comments, you have to pay attention to the positive comments. And I have to remind myself of that too, because every time we do, you know, have an interaction like that, or somebody sends us a really sweet email or sends us a nice comment or is excited because they're like, oh, like we just had a member, I think she won a newsletter giveaway recently. And a lot of the time I'll like let people know, like, you won this giveaway. Let me know what a good contact information is for you. But sometimes people will respond and be like, I'm so excited. This one member was like, I used your perk for this. I like found this restaurant because of you. And that is like a very like, you know, wonderful experience for us to have, and reassuring that it's like, okay, there's some people who have things to say that aren't great, but some people have wonderful things
and
to say.
our clients, like, I will cry. Like, a reel did so well that I always talk about Kendra and Laura Lee's. I don't know why, but her email, like, literally, it just makes me I'm like, oh, this works.
You have to like print it out, Paige, if you haven't already.
Screaming into the void, but it was like their date night deal, and I made a reel, and like she was like, we went from seeing like 10 people to over 30, and it felt like a Friday night on a Wednesday. And she's like, people are asking about our patio, and people didn't even know we had a patio. And it's just like, it was something so simple, but it just makes a huge difference. And I know people are like, oh, it's just a silly reel, but like that's her business. That's her baby.
Yeah.
And to be able to send people somewhere and make them sell out, or send people somewhere and make them have a line, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, oh, don't post it because then everybody's going to know about it.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to help.
We're trying to share the wealth.
We're trying to help.
Yeah.
We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to, make something successful. Like, it's hard out there.
Yeah.
So if there is a line to get a bagel, just sit in that line and enjoy it.
Right.
You're
Enjoy
making a
their
huge
success.
difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Like that statement is funny because I understand both sides of it. Like, don't tell anyone because then everyone's going to know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yes, that means it'll be harder for you to get in the next time you go, but that means that place will be there in a year from now instead of closed because you didn't go every day and pay their rent.
You can't personally finance this bagel shop.
So they need the exposure.
Well, you could.
And like the thing about showing off a little bit of someone's restaurant to your large audience, and people not really equating that to the restaurant being successful, it just there is an inherent disconnect to how people view social media. And this is kind of why we are doing the Vera House podcast, is we want to highlight parts of Richmond that maybe some people don't get exposed to, but then also we want to help our clients, we want to help our guests to, have the exposure to our audience, use social media in a way that's going to benefit them in the long run.
Yeah.
And it's a tool, just like we were talking about earlier. It is a tool. It's a little bit addictive, but it's also a very useful tool.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think people get very stuck on like the influencer thing too, but influencers are just doing their jobs too. So it's like, and I think we kind of get associated with that sometimes, although we don't really like view ourselves that way. And I feel like might have like started on that path, but have very much like branched out and gone very far away from that, we feel like. And I feel like people just get very like
The ick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But influencers are doing their jobs too.
Yeah.
Everybody's just trying to like get dinner tonight, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I feel that people that are attracted to this type of work are like, influence is the result of the thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So you may
Yes.
have influence.
Yes.
But essentially what we're doing, the two of you are doing, is documenting and storytelling.
Right.
I love documenting. It's why we have microphones in front of us, right? We're documenting a conversation, talking about the things we love and that we care about. I love documenting.
Mhm.
And that could be done through video, through audio, through writing,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And for other people who don't want to do that, that's why it's provided for you.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
and it's
yeah.
like, and if you don't like it, then do it yourself.
Right.
And I am a little
We'll follow.
Yes. And, and not to be like too harsh or cynical about it, but business is ruthless. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing with
Mhm.
like exposing a new audience to a business. The truth is like, I don't want to sound too harsh, but if the business doesn't survive, it's because it's not good.
Right.
In many cases, maybe
Mhm.
not all, but at the end of the day, there's only so much room for so
Yes.
many businesses.
Right.
And it's like, do you want business and customers or do
Right.
you not? Like,
Right.
it's what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Um,
People are talking out of both sides of their mouths sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the request?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
So-
too cool for influencers or anyone to come document our restaurant. It's like, well, you'll be dead on a Friday night. That's
Yeah.
fine with us.
Yeah. Come on.
But that's awesome that you got that feedback because it's,
Yeah.
it's this constant reminder that what you're doing is important and
Yeah.
that it serves a purpose and
Yeah.
that people enjoy it and want to be a part of it.
And it goes back to what you're saying about the I think like when we think about the relationships we have, it's like
Mhm.
the extra noise is like, we aren't worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because at the end of the day, I know our clients are giving us the positive feedback and they're the ones making us continue our work. Like
Yeah.
they really are.
Our members too, like
Yes.
find our information like useful and find our like, meetups, book clubs and like city guides and all that useful. Like the people that we're working for, it's
Yeah.
like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you have this side of your business that is enjoyable. You love it, right? You mentioned book club, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that. You have these guides you're making, the community that you're involved in. So you have all these amazing parts of it, but then you also have the responsibility of running the business and
Yeah.
generating revenue and, and all these things that you're obligated to do and that you have to spend personal time doing. I know before we clicked record, you had mentioned that it's just the two of you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be doing. And, surely you have plenty of support and other people that help, of course, but, you two are at the helm of this.
Right.
What's it like to try to handle that balance between, okay, let's make this fun and creative and
Mhm.
enjoy it and make it about the community and connection, but then also make sure that you fulfill your obligations for the business,
Yeah. I think it's just funny. I recently did a day in the life because I don't think people realized what my day-to-day
Right.
looked like. I hold a pretty steady, I would say like 9 to 5. And in those hours, I am making content. I am posting content. Kelsey and I are meeting, recording the podcast.
Right.
And then I'm going out. I am visiting places. I am capturing that content. I'm responding to so many emails.
Trying to get to your 0.
So many emails. I try to get to inbox 0 every day, and it's
I was like so worried because I thought you can see my email over my shoulder before we were recording. I was like, oh my God, I don't want Paige to see. Like, I'm never at 0. Like, that's just not me.
and then during my office hours, if you will, I'm doing our QuickBooks, and
Right.
we're like, hey, did you respond to this text
Right.
document?
Yeah.
And we're touching base all the time. Kelsey and I chit chat every day about everything. And ultimately, my day is it's mostly behind a computer. I know people think I have this glamorous life of going out and doing all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, if I'm going out, I have to produce something.
Right.
So I'm sitting at my computer making content, making copy, writing voiceover scripts, responding to DMs, responding to requests to work with us, which again, super grateful for. We don't want those emails to ever run out. So that's like my day-to-day and my balance. I do have Screen Zen, which is an app blocker. So I block my apps past 4:00. Now, tonight I'm going on a business visit. So I'm going to unlock the app later tonight, post what I need to post, but then get off and not consume.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just about building boundaries. And like my wife and I will go on a date and we'll determine this isn't going to get shared. And that's okay. And, I have learned when to turn it off and when to turn it on. I feel like I have a hat. Like, I'm like, okay, this is a business visit, but I'm going to go in and do my job. Then I'm going to take that hat off. I'm going to enjoy it, be present. Then I'm going to put that hat back on and finish it. And for me, that's kind of what it looks like. Kelsey's probably way different.
Right. I just had my third baby. And so work hours for me are just kind of like when somebody's not spitting up or screaming, which tends to be like very late at night. Just last week, everybody in my house was working through some kind of virus except for me. And so by the time everybody was like quiet and resting, I was like turning on Allison Roman, cooking shows in the background and like getting my writing done at like 11 or 12 that night. And that's pretty like typical. And I won't like sugarcoat it too. Like some weeks it feels like hell because it's just like you're constantly on with something or another and you're so exhausted, but like we own it. So it's like, this is also how we're making money. So this deadline needs to be taken care of. And there are certainly weeks, especially like in these, fall or winter periods where people are sick so much more often at my house, where it's like a deadline might be like falling through or might be getting completed later than I was like hoping for it to. But we try to like stay on top of, or I'll speak for myself, I try to stay on top of my typical schedule of work each week too, so that our members are getting what they're like paying for. But it's hard. I mean, like when it's just the two of us, you can't, we've tried to work with contributors in the past, which has been helpful at times, but then sometimes that's just sort of like another thing that we have to do. We've recently kind of like taken a pause with that just because it was becoming like another project. But it's like hard. I think like the thing that like I remind myself of in particularly like difficult weeks is that this is still my dream job. I had always wanted to like freelance and like work for myself essentially. This is not how I pictured doing that by like literally purchasing another successful business. But I'm here and I'm like, somebody just texted me the other day in my family being like, now that you're a year through, like, what are the positives? What are like the cons? And one of the positives truly is this is like my dream job. I'm working for myself. I'm writing what I want to write. I'm writing about Richmond. I love Richmond. So it's like, it's a wonderful like job, but it also is a job. Like it's what I'm doing to like pay my bills. So it's tough.
It is. And it's a balance. And, for me, ultimately, this is also my dream job. Like I've manifested this a long time ago.
Yes.
And it's always my favorite story to tell. When I was a teacher, I was miserable. Like I was so unhappy. Just everything about my life, I was so miserably unhappy and I got into manifestation. And so I started writing down all my goals and it was like, I will work for RVAx. I will work for RVAx. And then I started working for the Richmond Experience. And then ultimately I started writing, I will own it. I will own it. I will own it. And then I owned it. And
I just got like stuck to that manifestation. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was part of this.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And for me, it's just freedom and flexibility. Like, again, we're small business owners. It's not like we make a lot of money, guys. We don't. Like, this is a labor of love.
If you want to work with us, though.
Yeah. It is a labor of love. And for us, ultimately, I'm going to speak for you, Kelsey, you wanted to be a mom and you wanted the freedom and flexibility to be with them and to still be a girl boss. And for me, I wanted the freedom and flexibility to travel. And to be able to do that, and not have somebody down your back and to be creative and ultimately like get to experience Richmond and, with the people I love and share that with the people I love. So it is every day I pinch myself. Like it is literally, I couldn't think of, I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
Like this is happiness.
It's a dream scenario. It's
Yeah.
just that when you get maybe a little like jaded sometimes because like you're exhausted sometimes and it's hard not to, but it is like, I mean, it's a dream scenario. I feel like for both of us.
For sure.
Yeah.
You've both kind of mentioned this in different ways, one way or another, about, kind of falling in love with this place. Is there maybe like a specific event or thing that happened or a memory that you have where you're like, all right, I love this place. This place is great. Like, is there maybe something that stands out for each of you?
I when we were talking about like restaurants to recommend and stuff, I will sometimes have a bad habit of recommending like only restaurants in Churchill just because I was so obsessed with it when I lived there. When I first moved in and like we bought our house in that neighborhood, we had been like moving all day. And then like finally like everything was like sort of like moved into the house. Half of it was unpacked. And it was just that point in the day of moving where it's like, I'm going to take a shower and then we should figure out what we're going to eat for dinner. And we did like the what's near me kind of thing. And we found Patrick Henry's because it was the only thing that was open late at that point. And my husband and I went over there and like had a beer and a sandwich. And I think I even wrote this in our Churchill guide later when I started working for the Richmond Experience. I still think about that sandwich because it was so delicious. I think it was whatever their like French dip situation or Reuben. It was a Reuben.
And you were probably just like, I'm so just happy to be here. It's just like, this is our home.
And we're sitting down. And I feel like Patrick Henry's is so like, I feel like quintessential Richmond or can be because it's kind of like that like grungy sort of thing we were talking about. But it's also like, it's cozy. It's like, you don't really know that it's there totally.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a standout memory for me. And I was in Churchill and I love Churchill.
For me, I've been listening to this podcast recently about like using it up. And it's like using Richmond up. And for me, it was, we have access to all these trails, right? Like we have the North Bank Trail, the Buttermilk Trail, you have the Forest Hill Trails, you have, the Teapot, Browns Island, Canal. And for me, like I immediately was drawn to them and I utilize them all the time. Yesterday, it was my birthday, so I had all my favorite things that I do.
Yes.
And it was walking downtown. Just walking over the Teapot Bridge, seeing the view, realizing like we have access to all of this. It's free. It's enjoyable. You're outside. You hear the river. Again, people are like, oh, the dirty river. I'm like, I don't care. It's lovely. I love it.
Wash over you.
Yeah.
Safely.
I just fell in love with just how beautiful the city is. Like we have Hollywood Cemetery, walk that. We have, just so many beautiful outdoor spaces, so many pretty views, like Libby Hill Park.
Oh, yeah.
You have Rockets Landing. I mean, I've pretty much explored all the trails here. And I think that's just like one of my favorite things. And I think, people use them, but I still think people don't know about them. Like still.
I would
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally agree.
and I mean, I miss the Pipeline Trail so much. I hope that some time comes
We're
back.
on our way
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
But people are still like, I didn't know that was there. And I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I know this is your podcast, but as Richmonders, what are your like?
yeah, is there a hidden gem?
Yeah. What are your favorites or what has felt very Richmond to you?
One comes to mind. It's there's a name for it, but it's eluding me. It's in Churchill. It is down the street from Libby Hill Park, and it is an overlook from Libby Hill to downtown and then to the greater Richmond.
I think that is just like
skyline.
Churchill Overlook, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right next to a radio station, which I think is a community
Yes.
center.
Oh, yeah.
And you just
Is
it's
that
a,
where the tower is?
That's where the
Yeah.
tower is. It's a
Yes.
dead end at the end of
Yeah.
that road, and you
Mhm.
can drive there, walk. There's a park bench, and there's a placard. I don't remember what the placard says, but it is a view of the Richmond skyline. And I noticed from that direction, the city looks pretty incredible, especially if let's say you're going out to like past Rockets Landing. If you're going to like the Libby or to the like Osborne Landing,
Mhm.
to the lily pad,
Mhm.
or if you're on the Capitol Trail.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if you're coming back, that view from the river
Yes.
into the city is just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, Richmond's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
just like you're in it, and then you can get to get a little like top down 30,000 foot view perspective of the city itself. You're like, oh, this is pretty sweet.
And I just love how everything is so close. Like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you're somewhere, you're in Churchill in 15 minutes, you're in Scott's Addition. If it, like wherever you are, it is just so easy to get around. We really don't have that much traffic. And
knock on wood.
As we grow.
Yeah.
And so I just also love that. Like it is just, it's a doable city.
Yeah. And you
it
can be
is.
like mountains and beach and like all that like
all in one
no
day
time.
if you're really, about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I joke with my friends. I tell them, I'm like, if it's further than 3 minutes, I'm not coming.
Yeah,
And like I'm kind of joking, but I'm also being serious.
Right,
Like,
right.
if it's more than 3 minutes, I'm not going to see you there.
What you need to do is you got to go like live back out in DC or San Diego or something like that for an extended period of time. And then when you come back, you're like, this is amazing.
We're so spoiled. And
Yeah.
that's we talk about this on the podcast. That's one of the things I think if you travel somewhat regularly, you start to get this opinion and this perspective on Richmond specifically. Virginia as a whole is great, and there's lots of redeeming qualities about Virginia. But Richmond specifically, and that's why we choose it as the home base, is you go to New York, you go to California, you go to the Midwest, you go to Florida, travel overseas. All those places are incredible. They all have really as a tourist, it's great to get that perspective as a traveler. But coming back here, you're like, okay, this place has all of that stuff, but so much easier, so much nicer, so much like with relative ease, you can just be here and explore and do all of those things that you could do in a bigger, more well-known city, for example.
Right. It's very low maintenance, low key.
Yeah.
But still city.
I would say my favorite part, I mean, there's so many different things, but you and I have a lot in common. Like I love all the trails and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite like Richmond thing is honestly my neighborhood. And I got very like, if the teenage dirtbag version of me knew where I was living now, they'd be like, no way. And I live in the Carillon neighborhood, like by Dogwood Dell Amphitheater with the Carillon Tower and on Bird
beautiful.
Park. And,
Yeah.
when I was in my early 20s, I would ride my bike. I didn't even have a driver's license. I would just ride my skateboard and my bike. And I always thought, even when I was young, it's like, this is like the most beautiful part of town. I just love it. Yeah. And we're on the same page. Like I love the book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I love it. I'm totally on board.
Yeah.
And I would always go through there and I'd be like, man, this is like the best part of the city. I just always loved it. Like going past the tennis courts and all the lights over there are still historic. So there's no like white lights. They're all like the dark amber lights. And it's just a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
We've got the lakes. I can walk to the river. I can walk to the CSX bridge and the
Maymont.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I got, lucky, but I made it happen. And I love being over there.
Yeah. There's a great playground over there too.
Yeah. There's so much great stuff over there. So I love it. Walk to the Dogwood Dell Trail at North Bank. And I love being over there. It's great. They just had the 100-year anniversary of the Nickel Bridge. Yeah. Did you go? Were you there with like pom-poms?
I didn't. I just shared about it. But I mean, it's just cool. It's just, I don't know. I love it.
It is. It's like very like small town, but also like big city feel. Like it's kind of like a mix of everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a really cool mix, but in such a small geographical location of proximity to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I realized this, over the years, and I really like this part about Richmond is you have so many very specific and distinct neighborhoods very close to each other.
Yeah.
And, you can equate it to something like the boroughs in like New York or the individual neighborhoods in like the Northern Virginia area. But Richmond itself is geographically just tiny in comparison.
Yeah.
Like the lakeside area is its entirely own ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have downtown and Brooklyn Park Boulevard, and that's an entirely own, ecosystem and neighborhood. And then Churchill and Scott's Addition and the Carillon, and then Riverside is another planet. If you go crossing the river is an entirely different experience. South Side and Sims Avenue and Forest Hill is just, you have all of these very distinct, specific parts of town, but it's all Richmond.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You should come here. Like, it's
Yeah.
the best.
I mean,
I know
don't
people
come
are
here,
gonna be
but come
mad.
here.
They're going to be upset about me saying that, but I love it here.
Yeah.
So what's next for the Richmond Experience? Anything, obviously we've got the holidays and everything coming up,
Right.
but as you
Yeah.
look ahead to 2026, anything stand out? Any big, evolutions or changes that you're looking forward to?
I mean, Kelsey and I last year, what we did in January, we went on like a little retreat and we just like talked about what we want, our goals, like how we want to grow. And I mean, ultimately, again, it's just us. So we can only grow so much, you know? And ultimately, I think we want to just stay true to our brand.
Yeah.
Keep like every month we donate a portion of our membership to rotating local nonprofits. We want to keep doing that. We want to keep, you know, our website fresh. We want to keep our content going. But like on the back end, we started like a member forum this year and we'd like, I think to nurture that a little bit more, maybe get that off the ground a little bit. We want people to know us more than just our Instagram. Like I'm on TikTok too, and we've grown that. When I first started, we had 1,000 followers and now it's like up to 20. So I mean, ultimately I want to grow on TikTok for a different demographic. Just younger, Gen Zs, as they say.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, you know, our audience has grown with us. You know, when Sam started this, she was, you know, in her 20s. I'm in my 30s. So, our audience is growing with us, but I want to make sure that like our younger audience doesn't get left behind, that we're still a good resource for them. And I just want folks to know that we have a website too. Like people just think of us as an Instagram, and I want to, you know, be more than just the Instagram. I want us to be a podcast. I want us to be a website. I want us to be more than just the Instagram, because as we all know, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And our Instagram is very successful, but it's just one slice. And I just would like to remind people of that.
Yeah. Want to make it like a little bit more of a well-rounded like media outlet.
Yeah.
It started with Instagram and that's wonderful. But we do, I mean, as the person who's behind the computer most often with our website, like it's always a work in progress. We love to fine tune it. We want to make it better for our readers, and we want more people to like know that it exists. We get so many people who are like, oh, I didn't realize that you had a website. And it's like, guys, we got a website. You got to come over to the website. So
yeah. And we've also like really haven't ever advertised ourselves. So that is something I'd like to work on and do next year. Like really actually do maybe a free newsletter to reach another audience.
Give you a better taste of the website if you don't want to officially like, you know, sign on for your trial of it or anything. You just want a free.
Yeah.
We can work on that.
We have so many. I want us to write a book.
Right. See, this is what we did though, where we're starting to list too many things.
Honestly, we have so many ideas.
Right. I think it's going to be exciting next year to be like, we've gotten past the first year, and it will be exciting to be officially like comfortable where we are to like continue moving forward. We just put out like new merch, which was something that I was like really excited about. And it's just like nice to do these like little tweaks. And I think it will be exciting to be more comfortable in the ownership roles, and then like just continuing doing what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So first tell us, what is your website? So
what is our website? No, we have a website. The RichmondExperience.com.
I figured as much. Can you tell us about the book club?
Oh, yes, of course. Our book club is like, you might have a better memory of this than I do, but it kind of formed, our founder, I think wanted this to be more of like a meetup situation originally, or wanted to like offer that more. And then I believe a contributing writer, Rachel Dawson, I hope it's okay for me to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she was the one, she's of all the rad reads. She has a great Instagram account too, if you're a big bookish person. I think she was contributing for the Richmond Experience at the time and suggested that they have a book club. And it's sort of like just stuck since then. We've been doing like 2 or 3. We've been doing it as long as you and I have been.
So, I mean, it's a pretty solid group. So it is a perk of being a member. And we meet monthly to chat about a book. We meet all around Richmond, which I think is cool because folks might, like we just went to Coco and Hazel and folks were like, we haven't been to this like location. We were at the old location, it closed, haven't been out to Bon Air. And so it's a cool cool way to like introduce folks to a new spot.
Yeah.
We're bringing like, anywhere from, 15, I would say, to 40 people. So it's helping them because people are buying drinks. It's like a win-win situation. And we just chit chat about the book. I mean, we have like a pretty loyal group.
Right. We love our book clubbers.
Yeah, we do.
Lauren, Tess, Kevin. We love you guys. It's such a nice little like community, and it's so good to like see them every like month just
and
to
catch up.
Yeah.
And
I like my spiel at the beginning of everyone is like, I'm the representative for the people who didn't read the book. You can just come and hang out.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't have to read the book.
I didn't do the homework. You just
Right.
come here and hang out.
Yeah.
And I try. Last month I didn't, but I was just on a trip. So it
Right.
was just hard for me to get it done. But
it's not really about the book.
it's just a community. It's just people wanting to hang out after work, grab a drink, grab a coffee, check out someplace new. And yeah, we do it. Well, we don't do it the month of November. We always skip the month of November because we always do it at the end of the month and it's always Thanksgiving. So we always do
right.
it at the beginning of December before the holiday hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
So we host 11 book clubs a year.
Yeah.
So
It's just
Wow.
like a nice little like structured meetup. People know what they're going to get into, but like if you are new to it, like it's really not intimidating.
and it's a great way. We have folks that have become like good friends.
Yeah,
And
right.
that they'll meet and
Mhm.
they'll, hang out. And I mean, that's ultimately what it's all about.
right. One of
Yeah.
them just had a new baby. I've been dying to ask her how she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's the really cool in real world community aspect.
Yes.
You have lots of followers on the social media platforms and people that are members on the website, but being out in the wild, as we like to say,
Yeah.
and meeting with people that are either fans or becoming new friends and people that contribute to your following, it's really cool. And I would imagine people that are on the other side of that think it's cool that you're engaging with them.
Yeah.
That's a perspective that most people may not really be able to put themselves in. Is
Mhm.
you have a lot of followers, you have a lot of people that like your content, that engage with it, that communicate via email or DM, and then you see them in the real life, or they're like, "Hey, you're such and such from Richmond Experience. Oh, it's great to meet you. It's great to see you in real life." People really like that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to go another step further, they get on the list, and then they have a date and time, and then they get the book, and then they communicate with you, and then they're there in person, and then you get to engage with them. All of that is like all these different touch points along the way that form like a real bond between you and the people that you're engaging with online.
Right. We hope it makes it more of like, a human, like,
Yeah.
like speaking to our authenticity, where it's like before the Richmond Experience, I really wanted to like be part of a book club. And then,
Same.
life just got away. There was COVID and all of that. And now, we've got our own book club. So it's just like a nice little thing to add to the authenticity. This is what we wanted, and now we're doing it, and we hope you join. So
Mhm.
we think it's cool too.
It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So that's a perk of being a member.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the membership. You can be part of the book club as long as you're a member. And it goes along with all those other perks we had mentioned too up at the top, like all these discounts that you can get at different.
Yeah.
like,
Can you
local
do a
spots.
speed run through it again? So how does someone become a member, and what's
Yeah.
included?
So you'll visit our website at the Richmond Experience. You'll hit the join button, and that's pretty much it. You're just going to put your information in, and from that, you're automatically like enrolled. So you'll start getting our next newsletter.
Mhm.
And from there, that unlocks the paid walls part of our site. You'll have to log in with your email address and your password that you create. And essentially, you'll be able to like go through our city guides, our calendar. You'll see everything. Our perks are cool. Like recently, we are working with VCU Athletics. So we have like discounted tickets to games. We have
like car detailings in there. I just promoted one for like if you need to get your kids like trimmed up for the holidays. We work with Sharky's Cuts for Kids.
yes.
They like all these businesses. And that's also, by the way, for businesses, we have these different partnership opportunities. If you've got a smaller budget as a business owner and you still need a little help with your advertising, a perk is a great way to do it because it lives on our website. It helps, members come into your shop maybe at a little bit of a discount, but it's kind of like a two-way, like helpful to us, helpful to you type thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And we work with so many great ones, Sharky's, of
No,
course they're
like,
escaping me.
Yeah, and like sometimes Altria will give us like, "Hey, we
Right.
have 40 extra Broadway tickets. Do you want them?" And
Yeah.
I throw them on, and
Yeah.
that's a $80 value right there.
It's like pays for your membership right there.
Yeah.
So.
And so oftentimes like the National will do that too. Hey, we have these tickets, put them out there. So if you check our perks page, you know, it's cool. Like, and we'll work with like Brambly when they had their Bramble On Fest. We had a special discount code so members could get tickets at a cheaper rate. And it's just those kind of relationships where it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
You know, our members are happy, the business is happy.
Right.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
This isn't part of that perk program necessarily, but also Squirrels has reached out to us in the past before to be like, we'd love to offer your members tickets. So like we have all these little avenues where it like very much like the $39, you'll make it back.
Yeah. If you go to a Squirrels game, if you get a free show ticket, it's just free.
Yeah.
It's value.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to read like our hilarious newsletter.
Yeah. You also get all the access to the things we were talking about before. The list, the guides, and your newsletters about things that are going on in Richmond, which is to me that's the most valuable part. I love a free ticket. 100% will take a free ticket to just about anything.
Sure,
just because it's free. But the information and the guides and the time and effort that you all put into the list to help people kind of navigate experiencing Richmond, that's the stuff that's valuable.
Yeah. We agree.
Yeah.
Well, we want to say thank you for being here and for all of the hard work that you put into the Richmond Experience over the years and especially over the past year. Thanks for joining us on the Vera House podcast and sharing this with us. We hope that the listeners visit therichmondexperience.com.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And of course, check you out on Instagram, but primarily look into all the other amazing guides and resources that you put together. I know I could probably speak for both of us, but we're super grateful for the effort you've put into it and for just sharing like a little glimpse into the brand and your lives and your families and just what it's taken to build a brand like that. And we'll have to have you back for part 2.
Yeah, I love that.
For sure. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. This podcast was recorded at Vera House Studios in Richmond, Virginia, and produced by Perri Young and Myke Metzger.